Shatter the Vain.
Cheers, Brad.
Cheers.
To Vainglory.
Vainglory. All right. Yeah, this is the 200th episode of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. And to celebrate and, I guess, ring in this moment, I have PwntByUkrainian joining me. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure as always, Brad, and thank you so much for allowing me to be on your final podcast. I don't think there's a bigger honor.
Yeah, I'm sure it says in the description and the video, but yeah, this is going to be the last episode of Shatter the Vain. I think it was fitting to have you be a part of this. One, you've been such a important force in Vainglory, and Gankstars is now leaving Vainglory as well for now. So kind of both of us saying goodbye to it all. I know you've already written and shared a huge blog post about all the memories and what went down a little bit more. So I haven't done that, so this is more mine. And
are you going to do that?
I will. Yes, there's probably be something I have written up and shared after recording this episode that I'll put out with this episode. So yeah, look for that.
You should. Yeah,
maybe it may be a lot of what I say on here and just a lot of those thoughts, but it's always fun to write it down and
just transcribe it.
Basically, some people like to read, some people like to watch. You got to give them both options, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's really sad to see, knowing that this is coming to an end, and I think Gankstars leaving as well. I think a lot of people felt that, and it feels like the shakeup in the community that I think needs to happen for the game to move forward for them. I think personally, I feel like a lot of people who have been holding on to it all need to leave and let a new group of people raise it up a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, and I think it's a good moment to walk away as well. I don't know if you feel that way too, that we need fresh blood to come into the game and not hold on to maybe some of the things that some of us are holding on to, and this is the way it was done, but it's not the way it is done anymore.
I definitely agree. All the new blood is always good. I think we've been waiting for years in some ways to see a new wave of people come in. We had these discussions, I know, 2 years ago, where we looked at the competitive players, and it's almost the same players, year after year. The names, they're just switching organizations.
Right. Or in some cases, swapping each other's names. So.
And just wanted to take a step back and say, you mentioned we were a big part of Vainglory. Well, you are a huge part of Vainglory, or where, I guess, at this point, but just wanted to give you props for doing so much in this scene. The fact that this is 200th episode should the kind of, you're the kind of guy that you don't need to talk much because your work speaks for itself.
Oh, thanks.
Right. I don't need to tell people you have a history. I just need to say you made 200 episodes. I don't even need to say that. It's out there. So, and that's just Shatter the Vain. And then you made so many videos playing the game. And then you made different series inside of that. You made Catherine series, this and that series. Do you know how many total videos you have dedicated to Vainglory over the last whatever years?
I'd have to, not off the top of my head, I have to look, but it's a lot of videos. It was over a year of me doing videos every day. That's every freaking day. And that's exhausting. Anyone out there who's done daily projects or even weekly projects, it burns you out fast. So when you can make it a year or make it 200 episodes, you're exhausted to some degree.
Daily anything is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, people sometimes have trouble brushing their teeth every day.
Yeah, that's true.
You're doing at least an hour worth of work.
But
yeah,
I guess
so incredible. So thank you for being in the community. Really, really glad we met. Really glad we had a chance to even have you in GS, even though your brand was always separate and as it should be. But just the fact that we get a chance to hang out and talk, being around people who contribute and create is fantastic. So
yeah. For sure. Well, thank you. Yeah, it'll be fun, and I have to see where it all leads me to now that I'm not part of this game. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But
Fortnite channel.
the Fortnite channel, yeah. I am so bad at first person shooters. Like I would just be the worst channel there. I don't know. But going like way back, I'd love to I'm going to share how I got into the game and then how you maybe got into the game. I know it was in your post, and it's always
Share
nice
some
to,
stories.
yeah, we can share some memories, some stories, not get all upset at what's in the game currently or what's bugging us now, like what made the game great. So when I got into the game, I know a lot of people have come on this episode and talked about the Apple keynote and that kind of thing, but I had came across Vainglory even before that because I was watching Ciderhelm's stuff from League of Legends, and he was making amazing content for League of Legends, and I was just getting into the game because it came over to the Mac, what was it, like 2 or 3 years after the game had started. So once it came over to the Mac, I kind of checked it out then, and Ciderhelm's videos were some of the best. He had books and just insane guides, so he kind of disappeared. And then I found out that he went to go work for Super Evil Megacorp to work on a MOBA, which was really exciting. Basically this content creator you like really liked, you find out they're doing something in a game that was similar. I was all on board, and I was waiting for releases and when this game was going to come available. So then the Apple keynote happened, and of course I had to get on the game when it was in the SEA region, which was always a headache, which still is a headache for everyone that makes accounts for pre-release games, if it's Brawl Stars or Arena of Valor, whatever's out there. It sucks. I forgot my passwords, so I could never even go back to any of the other stores at this point. But so that was 2014, like late 2014, and then I started the podcast. It was Thanksgiving Day or the day after Thanksgiving, the first episode dropped in 2014. So I fell in love with the game like instantly and realized like, oh, there's going to be something here and something that I want to talk about passionately for a long time. And I was also bored of League of Legends and wasn't really having as much fun in that game. And so this idea of a mobile MOBA that was brand new that I could learn with as it expanded was really exciting. That's kind of me getting into the game early on. What about you?
It's an awesome story, man. Mine is way simpler. I was a software engineer doing, I developed apps for iPhone, right? Mm. So I was working on, it doesn't matter, but that's my job. And so I would go to Apple events, or at least watch them religiously, because it's essentially part of my job when they announce new hardware.
Sure.
And then, of course, during a developers conference when they announce new software. And I saw the game. Frankly, I thought it was stupid at first because I just couldn't understand what it is about. It was my first MOBA experience as well. And I looked at the commercial. I thought, okay, they're just trying to show off Kraken and just some graphics. But it was interesting enough to me from a geek point of view, because I bought a new iPhone every year because I love how fast they improve the graphics chip. So I wanted to see, when I got the new iPhone and I wanted to see what it is capable of, I remembered Vainglory on this, Plus, of course, the scarf on Tommy. Like, I actually could not forget that, and I really liked it. And I appreciated Tommy bringing the scarf game to Apple keynote. So downloaded the game, started playing it, and I realized it's a really cool game. Mm-hmm. I really like the mechanics and the ideas and all of that. So that was my start.
Yeah, it is funny, like when you go back and look at that keynote, that it really was just hey, look at how pretty stuff is. There was no gameplay.
Yeah.
It was just
it was Kraken and then the vein shattering or exploding.
Yeah.
I think that's essentially was
some butterflies, maybe like a pan around the fold to see like some of the particles that were floating in there, but that was it.
Yeah.
So
well, whatever it was enough to, I think, a lot of people like us to think I should check it out. So
and that game seemed to pop, or Vainglory popped more than there was the next year. I think there was a game, like a mech game, that was even more powerful and took advantage of different graphics card, and then the recent ones about like the AR games and stuff. But for some reason, Vainglory did take off a little more than those other games. Like they, I think, had a better product that was more put together and more tested than just look at how pretty this is.
It's the scarf.
Yeah, it was just the scarf. Yeah.
Listen, you can't underestimate looking good.
All right, I guess so.
Yes.
But then coming from League, those games, as when Vainglory kind of started to come out, those League games were starting to last about an hour. I know that was due to their balancing and just issues they have with the game, that it often goes a long time. So an idea that I could play for 15 minutes in the living room, like with my wife, not in the office at the computer for an hour and a half. I could at least be in the same room playing something, was really appealing. And that was one thing that I really liked about the game. Like, oh, I can play for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe if I get 2 games in, and it's enough to like hit that urge to have some sort of entertainment that's not TV, and you're in and out pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, definitely it was great. You know, I played mobile games for a while, and before that, I obviously played PC games and PlayStation. And one thing I always wanted to see is a good mobile game, right? Something that's not just popping bubbles or you know, puzzles and so forth. And I think there were a few interesting games on iPhone at the time. They were artistically great. You know, they were well made. But you know, I don't know if Monument Valley was there yet.
Around that time, yeah.
Around that time-ish somewhere. But you know, Vainglory was the first really in-depth game, multiplayer in-depth game, right? Because there was not really a multiplayer experience on mobile devices that was this in-depth, and the controls were this good. So that was something I was really much looking forward to. You know, I had the controller, like for iPhones, Apple TVs, whatever. I bought, never really used it, because I was always looking for this way of playing something on mobile that has great control scheme.
Yeah.
And I found that in Vainglory. So that's what really pulled me in.
That there's something about, like, looking back now that the 5v5 has come out, and thinking about the Fold and the Kraken, there was like magic coming into that game that I don't know might have had that same experience coming from, or if the 5v5 was there now, because it was different. It stood out as everything else from the PC world that was 5v5 MOBAs. Heroes of the Storm had its own mechanic and different maps, so it was different. And then you come into Vainglory, this one lane, very big jungle, and yeah, it was different. It didn't feel like you had to know how to play the other ones to play this, and vice versa. You could have your own strategy, play this, and that steampunk vibe. I love that. It was when the first version came out, it was like, it doesn't look that great. It doesn't look as lush as it does now, but it had that like dirty, grungy kind of feel, and I like that, and I still like that.
Yep. Yep. Just like our logo.
Yeah.
It's grungy. It has character. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, there's
I agree.
Personality there. Not to say like what they've put into 5v5 and everything there, it is incredible that they built an entire game in a year. So kudos to them on that. Like, that's amazing. So over these years, like, then you fell in love with this game early on, and you started Gankstars, right? Or you found some friends to basically put together Gankstars, right?
Well, as I put on Twitter recently, they actually found me. I did go online and start looking into sort of communities. So I saw Play of Beards post on the forums saying, if you're looking for other people in North America, you know, download this Line app.
Yeah.
and we're gonna put you in this group or something. And I think Flying Fox was managing the groups in there at the time. And so once I got into the group, you know, I started playing with some people, and eventually Spix approached me, a player in Vainglory, and she said, listen, I have a couple other friends here, and we should start a guild or a clan or whatever. And I said, cool, why don't you guys start it?
Yeah.
They said, well, I don't know, don't really want to manage it. You look like the managing type. And I said, sure, why not? Let's go. It's a lot more fun to play with friends. So yeah, we put it together, and then Spix and I were discussing names, you know, and trying to figure out what to call it, and I wanted something aggressive. She wanted something flowery and or dreamy or a little bit more soft, right? So she wanted something with stars or a few other things. I like stars the most because I can relate to dreaming and achieving your dreams, sort of, philosophy.
Yeah.
You can't aim too high, kind of thing, and nothing's impossible. But I wanted to do something with ganking because it's a MOBA or some of that sort. So we just combined it at the end, and honestly, I'm very happy with that because getting a lot of compliments now on the name.
Yeah,
it's original and it's different. So
and it feels tough too. Like it has that, like we're talking about, like grungy personality. The gangster,
right?
the gangster part of
that,
it kind of is there where you're.
It's tough and soft at the same time.
Finding that community early on. I know I resisted downloading Line. Like I had never been in like a World of Warcraft guild or any of that kind of world. So I am pretty much just a solo person that plays any of these games. So I was fine playing solo queue. And once you do find those people, it's a whole different world and really does make the game a lot more fun. And you won a lot more if you would just team up with some people that were good. You realize like, oh, we could just crush because we're going to play the 3 strongest heroes and win. But so that was always interesting early on once you realized that.
Those mirror drafts were great. You could have the same heroes on both sides too.
Right. I know Mexi had a tweet or posted on Reddit recently about how the early days of the game, you just played the game because there was no ranked or casual queue. It was all the same queue. So you just played with no idea of how much you were winning or losing, and your skill tier would just all of a sudden change at one point, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I leveled up, but I have no one to tell except if I'm online or I could go on the forums because that was it.
No, that was a lot of fun. And then 10 years later, we got ELO number, right? I remember everybody was trying to figure out that system and how it works.
I think they're still trying to figure out how it works and what that is. No, people should go and look back. Thankfully, it's on YouTube. They should look back in like VIPL and World Invitational. Those games, they're just really funny to me in terms of the builds and just the rest. Like the level, the competitive level of the players has gone a long way since then. For sure.
And we won the first VIPL, but like looking back, obviously we were the best team at the time. But looking back, it's just funny what the builds were and how everybody played. It was very, very raw, very new game. Yeah,
going to that the VIPL and in Korea and everything, that had to be a pretty surreal experience for this game that was now, what was that, like a year and a half into it? So it had just 2 years, maybe it just recently launched on Android around that time.
Well, no, it was it came out in North America just in November.
Yeah.
Right. So that was 2014 November, and July 2015 we were in Korea.
Oh, okay. So even before
it wasn't even a year,
Android release. So
right, yeah. The World Invitational, I think, was right before. It was like late June, and then there was Android release July 1st, 15, and then VIPL first was like late August, September.
Did it feel strange? I guess, does it feel strange looking back on it now that moved as quickly as it did? Now that we're seeing maybe some changes and them stepping back from it, that ramped up very quickly early on. Like that first 6-8 months was hyperspeed.
That is true. I mean, the prize pool for the first event was basically almost high as the recent prize pools.
Okay.
If you look at a specific event, right? Because the first place we won $35,000 in VIPL. So that's the first place, and then the second place got, I think, 15 or something, and the third got 9.
Okay.
I forget the exact breakdown, but the idea is there was a total of probably at least 50,000.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
prize pool for one single event.
That was basically only
Yeah.
North America because it was all on iPad. So it's a very small group, or iOS. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's, yeah, it moved fast. I don't know. Um, I mean, the thing is though, OGN I think hosted it, so I don't know who paid the bills, right? I
Yeah.
don't know if OGN picked it up because they wanted to. At the time, Riot was giving OGN a lot of trouble, and OGN wanted to sort of look into other potential titles that can explode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can be
And
accepted in the community.
StarCraft was kind of fading, and they didn't have Overwatch
Yeah.
yet, and
Yep. Yeah. So it's quite possible to me. I can imagine that OGN paid foot the bill. But I have no idea. So if they did, then for Vainglory perspective, it didn't, why not?
Mhm.
Like somebody comes to you and say, I want to help make your game more popular, give you great footage to use it marketing and all of that. Of course you accept that.
Well, I believe OGN built the spec client, right? SCMC, I'm sure, worked with them, but it was built because of
Um,
that.
well, yeah. So the story back then that Captain Nito gave is that, a lot of people were bugging him about the spec client, right? Because we had the VGL North America before, and, you had to, the third person on the team had to be the spectator. And I think the Captain Nito story is he was sitting, I think DZ Live would actually bother him a lot about that.
Oh, right.
Unless I'm getting the name wrong. And they were sitting, in a bar or something, and somebody was really telling him, like, you need to build a spec line. That was like Friday or something. So Captain Nito was like, okay, whatever. So he went home, and, on Monday he showed the spec client.
Okay, that's okay.
That's like the beta, right? The first rough version of it. I believe that is the story, and I'm sure for OGN they have to, of course, then to upgrade it a bit and make sure it doesn't bug out and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more community driven, I think.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense for DZ live stream. If anyone remembers those
Yeah,
days, he was doing the fight nights and streaming basically other people playing the game, and he would just cast them and basically show off a lot of cool graphics that weren't being seen in the mobile gaming space. So, and his
yeah.
setup was very crude and crazy at the same time, from what I remember, like foot pedals and switchers.
He loves his main gear and just tens of thousands of dollars worth of production equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's DZ Line knows how to put it. This quality of his production on his streams is quite insane.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, having him there early on doing that for the game, and the people that were streaming it at that time were doing something unique, and for a mobile game too, they were like, I'm going all out. I'm doing everything here that you would see on a big AAA title. Let's go.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
All right, what's next? I'm going with you through this memory lane.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to get to the part where we just talk random stories.
Random stories.
So,
so was the South Korea trip, was that when you decided, like, esports, you're all in? Or had you already been dabbling in it prior to getting into Vainglory?
No, I personally was not. I think Iraqi was more in terms of spectating. I know Iraqi also played. He told me he was a Red Alert, like one of the best Red Alert players in the world, Common and Conquer. And I think he might have had another game that he was quite successful in. But, as far as individual competing, and then when we were in Korea, like, there was a very specific moment when him and I were standing watching the stage, and we just looked at each other and said, this is the shit. Like,
okay,
this is future, and from there it was just, okay, how do we do this? So for me, it was definitely that moment. It was just very clear that this is coming to the rest of the world in the very near future, and this is what America will look like, 5 to 10 years from then.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I couldn't find what I wanted to do in life. Right, I was a software engineer. You'd say successful one in terms of I was paid well and all of that, but I wasn't really passionate about it.
Fair enough.
I always wanted to do something in gaming, but I didn't want to be a software engineer in gaming. So when I went to Korea, I saw my opportunity, right? I can be a manager / owner and apply my knowledge of some knowledge of business, some knowledge of other things I learned along the way without being an actual developer.
Mm-hmm.
So that was exciting for me. So yeah, right after we got back, we incorporated, as a company, or at least started on that path.
Yeah. Yeah, I think around that time and all the esports stuff taking off was, I feel like a really great moment for the game. And that when that Android launch happened, there was like so much just like, this is it, guys. This game's going to be huge. It's going to blow up. Aren't you glad we got in here in October, November of last year?
Yeah.
And like, this is it. And then it just kind of, it was just a steady climb. It didn't have that like ramp up that it had in that first 6-8 months, like the hyper growth. And then it just felt like it was like, cool. Now what? Right.
Well, now this is it. No, now it's it.
Yeah. Now this moment. Now. Yeah.
Okay. This update though, man, this update, the next update, you'll be able to see other people's profiles. Probably.
Nah.
I think.
I don't.
Yeah, that was yeah. So maybe they went a bit to, because we don't see behind the scenes, right? We don't know how far along they really are in development and what kind of other foundation they have to build before they can sort of roll out these features in a fast succession. And there's like the technical side of the developing the software, from the technical dev, the foundation, to managing source code. There's a bunch of things that you start doing as a bigger company that are pretty hard to do, to scale. And then you have the human resources side, right? Where and sometimes you realize, and of course they're venture funded, so you realize, okay, crap, we need 20 more people. And maybe your investors say, what do you need 20 more people for, man? Maybe you don't have the amount of money to spend, so then you have to fundraise, and that takes you several months. And then, I don't know. I don't know much about the behind the scenes logistics, but
as someone who does or did software, that there's a roadmap, so they have a plan for however long that is. There's a group working on the current patch. There's probably another group of people working on the next patch, and then a smaller group modeling or designing stuff for the patch down there. So there's a motion that happens. So they know that if a feature is going to be in the game, they have at least 3 months. They know if it's even going to make it there, because it would just be too long to be like, oh yeah, that's going in next week.
Yeah, for sure. We've planned this. I mean, for the main features, they know like a year ahead, right? Yeah. For like really big stuff, but things change. So I think so. What I remember change is that they hammered monetization really hard at some point, right? So we started seeing all these skins come out and all these different currencies and ways of like the tiers of skins and this and that. And I again, I don't have this information, but I'm thinking a directive came down from either investment group or from the CEO thinking, hey, if we monetize now and show good revenue, right, which every business has to do that at some point, then we can secure path for much longer in the future. I would say they started doing it too soon, right? Because so much development effort went on monetization idea versus building the core product and then monetizing, right? And I don't know if it's because it was a decision on the business side or because it just simply didn't have the luxury that a lot of some startups, it take 5 years, right? I mean, you have Magic Leap now who raised, I don't know how much they raised, billions. Literally billions. And they haven't produced anything to the market. They have basically zero revenue. And they've been around for like 7 years or something. So it just depends on the product, depends on your investment backing, et cetera. Some people have more luxury.
But I remember like myself and other people in the community were like, please let me have a way to like give you some money. Like, I love this game. It's free. And so now what everyone started doing was just making Smurf accounts and buying heroes. And so that I think messed up game growth numbers at the same time, right? Like, well, I want to support this game. And now I can't do anything on this account because I have everybody. I'll make a Smurf and I'll buy them, and at least there's $20 I put in the game, and felt like I contributed to it a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, you thought that, but how many people, what percentage of people are people like us, right? Like, was it 5%.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think personally, I like the elite community, their desires to help the company. I don't think they factored in very heavily because they obviously they have to look at the mass,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think I've harped on. I don't know, over the last like year or something. There's a group of people that, like you said, want to buy stuff. There's a group of people that want to watch esports or support content, and that is tiny versus the people that just want to play
Yeah.
one game before bed or after work, and that's it.
Yeah.
All they know of the game. They don't even watch a YouTube video. They don't even know there is video game content
Yeah.
for this game out there, and that's huge. And they're
Yeah.
not even level 10, or like they just got into the game. It's brand new to them. And they don't care. They don't have to be good either. So they're fine not being good.
Yeah. No, that core 10-minute experience has to be excellent for you to have really high active users.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of talents.
Yeah. No, speaking of talents. Oh man, I never got into Blitz and the brawl modes as much because I liked the core game experience, and that's what I enjoyed to play. Like, I wanted that competitive nature. So
I love Blitz. I used to love Blitz. I don't like it because of talents, but man, that was like when that came out, I emailed them. I don't know, I don't remember who I sent messages to, but I was like, you guys nailed it. I really thought they made one of the smartest decisions ever in the history of that game, is to release Blitz mode.
Mm-hmm.
So for the time before talents, it was like amazing. I had so much fun.
Back to the, I don't know, monetization of it all. If the talents were just there to bring in more money, or if they wanted to make it feel like a totally different experience. I'm not sure the exact reason for the talents to get added. It felt
has
strange.
To be money.
Yeah.
It has to be money. Because there are so many. Like, they're actually really hard to make, right? That was so much effort spent on that. I mean, there's a gajillion of them. Keeping track of them, trying to balance them at least somewhat, right?
Right.
And then coding, like, they're not just cosmetics, right? So you have some code attached to almost every talent. Some of them just stats modifying, so that's easier. But some of them are, mechanics modifying, like the how many stars you can put a Celeste, and just like 3 fireballs, right? As scarf.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, I think no company would ever spend that much development effort if they didn't think that it would be a great for them monetization wise,
Mm-hmm.
Or it would significantly improve the game. But I don't understand how people would have thought that it would have significantly improved the game.
Mm-hmm. And then the problem you have if you play Blitz or any of the brawl modes and you don't have talents, it's not as fun. It's maybe fun if you win and then you're like, oh, I beat you without talents. But at the same time, you're just like, I don't have 3 fireballs. I don't have any.
Yeah, playing against people. Yeah, no, it's good. I don't care what anybody says. It's pay to win. Like, Blitz has become absolutely pay to win, and because you have to play how many? I wonder if there is somebody did numbers, like how many hours you have to put in to get all the talents without paying.
I don't even know if there's that many people that have all the talents. Chief Pat probably has them all.
I am quite certain it's a literally inhumane number.
Yeah.
So if I have to play your game for 5 years to get talents, those are not free to get. Like,
plus leveling them up, they get stronger. So that's not even having them all.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, 20 years, like, it's clearly pay to win. For those modes, and so I think they knew that, and I assume there's a good reason, but it's first, it's fine. Like, every company's going to make mistakes, and I think that was one of their biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know why we were talking about this, because that's fine. But I think that's why we're going to try it. I think it has to do with monetization.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, but it's been fun to see them, like, they try these modes, they build this out, they spend all that time building the talents, and now they've spent that time building 5v5, which I never asked for 5v5. I liked the 3v3. I liked that game. I was starting to get bored of 3v3 as, you know, what, 211, 212, and that could have been the fact that I knew 5v5 was coming, so it's tough to say, like, I wasn't enjoying the game, but I knew there was something new coming. So
you wanted more depth, right? Though you wanted...
I did want more depth, because you do start to get bored because you're like, oh, I can play all the heroes. All right, I'm at least competent in them. So now what? Now what do we do? So it was hitting a wall, I think, for a lot of people at that time.
Yeah, I think people did want more depth. I think I did not ask for 5v5 either. In fact, I pushed very strongly for 4v4, but I did want more depth. Like I think the map was way too small. You know, one jungle is not enough. You could have easily just added another jungle on top at least and still keep it one lane, or just add second lane. No, that's how you have 4v4. Or you could have, you know, one jungle that's bigger, and then, you know, 2 lanes that you could have crisscrossed the lanes. You know, so a lot of things you could do. I don't know how many of those ideas are actually great when it comes to playtesting and balancing and all of that. But I think people did crave, like 3v3 was starting to get a bit stale.
Sure.
But you're right also in the sense that 5v5 was not the only solution, right? So they picked 5v5, I think, for obvious reasons. It's marketing, it's familiar, people know that, and people started then comparing that, because, you know, there's a lot of that. It's a mobile game. It's 3v3 because it's mobile, and it can be as big or as good as desktop. And they're like, well, hold my beer.
Right, here you go. Here's Fog of War. Like what they built is very impressive, but
it's impressive. No, technologically, it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's hard to say if it was the right move. Like I would love to see them share some more of the like building the maps, and like what other tests did you guys just do a 3-lane map and be like, this is what it's gonna be. It must be the best way. So let's just go with that and save time. Like that had to save time. Like we'll just go with this map and tweak from there, but. Was there other maps tested? How many other versions were there just to see if it was going to work?
I don't think you'll ever. Well, there's 2 choices here. A, they did that, and they will be proud to show off, right, and say we've done all these, you know, just for history and sort of documentary point. If they have not done them, they'll never admit it, because then it looks lazy, right? And then it's because also like 5v5, I think at the time when they started thinking about it, it was very hard to do technologically. Yeah. So just choosing that was sort of, we are not even sure we can pull this off. So they were forced to discuss other options.
Yeah, because we did see, I think it was like the 2-year stream or something like that. We've seen a lot of behind the scenes of Vainglory in the early days when it did have 2 lanes, when there was drawings and stuff like that, of other things that they tested or concepted way in the past. So maybe they went back to some of those. Maybe they're like, well, it didn't work then. Why is it going to work now? Let's go with what is tried and true and the players expect. Because there would have been a group that would have said, I want my League of Legends map. Where's that? And get mad about a different map too. So there's really no win there for them.
You just have to pick. I mean, you just have to pick something and stand for it. You pick what you think is fun and engaging. You just never care about the trolls and everybody who doesn't like it. But you do want to care about feedback, and you do want to make sure that it actually is fun. It's not, you can't be arrogant.
No, for sure. So speaking of like memories and stories, was the Korea trip your favorite memory of Vainglory, or do you have another one that's like more prominent and you look back on as like a huge highlight or a moment in the game for you?
Yeah, you're thinking for yours.
Mine would probably be the first TwitchCon, because I went to that. That was the first time I met a lot of the developers and met other people that played this game in real life. Like one of my friends here in Chicago play it, and then Halcyon Masters, he's here also, but I don't see him very often, and my friend that plays doesn't play that often that we talk about it. So I knew 0 people in real life that played this game. So it was very fun to go find out and go to TwitchCon and be like, hey, there's real people that play this game. Like, oh my gosh, like it's not just people on the internet that I talk to. Nice to finally meet you. So I think that was like just a really fun moment, and meeting the devs and realizing that they're passionate about the game and they're there and they want to talk to you about it. So it was really cool.
Were you here for the Android launch too?
No, I didn't come out for that one. Yeah.
Okay. So Korea, I think honestly, Korea was amazing, and it's related to the game. And at the same time, Korea was amazing because Seoul is amazing. And if you haven't been, you guys, everyone has been, you have to go. So good. I always will remember walking on the streets late at night, getting coffee at midnight, coffee shops filled with people, nobody sleeps. You feel very safe, like you go through the streets and there's all these nightclubs and bars, and just the way the interaction goes between males and females is so much seemingly more respectful. I don't know what they're saying, but it feels like people feel that they're free and respect and all of that. Which, I mean, it's not like here it's completely not that at all, but it just feels like it is statistically, I think, one of the safest cities in the world, and it does feel quite like that because people are out at all hours of night. Some malls close at 5 a.m. Bars close at 5 or 6 for like a couple hours, then they reopen. It is dubbed as the city never sleeps for a reason, and it was just amazing having all this freedom and not being like set to a specific schedule. Food is good, drinks are good, just a lot of good stuff. Pretty city, just 25 million people. It's huge.
Yeah, it's good.
It's built around this mountain, and there's a river goes around. It's just everything is the public transportation is amazing. So anyway, so we had a lot of fun being there, and then there's like, it's like we were often go to this tourist district where there was this American-owned bar called Southside, and it's cool to go to Korea and be in the environment and the culture, and then be able to talk to your bartender in pure English and ask for a really good drink that in your typical American bar, and they'll make a really good drink there, right? And then you sit on the rooftop and just, that was really good time. My other moment was July 1st. So when the Android launched, it was a cool party, and it was just great to have all the people together. Lots of great energy, everybody playing, just for the sake of playing. There is no. I think another reason why those members are very fond for me is because there was no competition.
Yeah, there was.
In some ways,
the esports scene was just starting, and the teams weren't there yet, and there was no like cutthroat stuff happening. It was just like, I'm really good at the game. I have a team.
There was no cutthroat stuff, no drama, and everybody wanted to help each other. Just and if somebody succeeded, they were actually happy for you. So. Mm-hmm. I think that made everything feel incredible. I mean, it's like imagine being a family where if you succeed, people like get upset or try to, steal things from you so you can't succeed the next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that party had a lot of people there that were part of the game early on that almost none of them are here anymore. I know Xenotech, that was kind of one of his first parties, Vainglory parties he went to, and he's still, here playing the game. But DZ and Ferris are gone. I think Chuck from the Fold was at that party.
Oh man, Chuck.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people.
I tried to bring Chuck so many times. Tried to bring him back because he's such an amazing personality to have. But yeah, Chuck, there was Captain Jeffy.
Right. I think Lady Wabish and Gibbs might have been there.
Gibbs was there.
See, I wasn't even there, and I know everyone who was at that party. Brizzle McFizzle was there, yeah.
Brizzle. But there's still also, the time people that were there are still around.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, with Chuck and the Fold, like that ending was a huge blow to the community, and like their podcast did something different than mine did. That was more about the news and spotlighting the community, where theirs was about educating people to get into the game and understanding it. And then you have, now you have Time for Rolling Esports that focuses on the esports scene. So you needed these little niches that were really good to help cater to people that like the game. And so it's sad to see so many of these kind of go away and end now, but it just happens. Yes.
It happens. Yeah. I mean, change is the only constant. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, those are good times.
So now what's up for Gankstars now that you have no more Vainglory? What's on the horizon?
Yeah. So, you know, Gankstars is actually doing really well. As I think explained in my blog, Vainglory, we started there obviously, and I'm very grateful. Mm-hmm. I don't have an 8 crystal ball. You know, maybe we could have started somewhere else and be just as successful or more. But I think that's kind of a lame thing to say at the same time, because we could also have not done anything. And I mean, who knows what life could have been. So the fact is we did start there. And the fact is we were able to win thanks to, Iraqi Gay Vizzle called the Meek. Mm. And we got the Mumpress sponsorship, which was, quite good. I was really shocked when I accepted the number I sent to them. Twitch, I sent it to Twitch too, and Twitch said, F off. And that's ridiculous. And Mobcrush said, okay. Just goes to show kids, you don't ask for it.
Yeah, Twitch is still here. Mobcrush is, they're doing yeah, something but, now, but
maybe Twitch was smarter, but I think honestly, Mobcrush paid other people too, so I don't think what they paid us was that crazy. Yeah. But it was great for us. We reinvested most of it into Vainglory, but some of it into other places. And honestly, we invested very little in other places. Like our first Paladins team was free. H1Z1 team, we didn't pay them. We haven't paid them anything until this H1PL that starts. Okay. Our agreement was that we take care of their travel to DreamHacks, right? Okay. As part of the Elite Series. So we gave them opportunity to go and secure prize pool, plus co-promotion and all of that. But there was never salary. With Critical Ops, there was no salary at the beginning. And then when Phoenix started to do their thing, put it that way, and, then we had to counter that with, offering headsets and eventually a small salary. But really it was very tiny. So Vainglory, we put almost everything we ever had back into Vainglory. Mm-hmm. Until March of 2017, where, the new Paladins team there, we only had one Paladins. So in the Paladins team, we started paying them at some point, small amount. I just actually don't remember which one, where, at which point. But in Paladins, though, we actually made back all the money. So because we paid whatever we paid. So I'm not going to say numbers, but let's say we paid them 1x. And then when we sold them to Ninjas in Pajamas, after we had to leave, we couldn't join Premier League because we were not part of WESA yet. We sold it for 3x. So that was a great investment. So we never lost money on any game. Come to think of it. Well, no, we lost a little bit. We're losing a bit of money on Critical Ops because the scene is not quite there yet. And we're now losing money on Fortnite because there is no esports scene. But I think it's a very worthwhile investment. Short term. So anyway, long story short, we invested basically 90% of our money back into Vainglory. But the 10% we did invest elsewhere paid off really, really well for us. And yeah, we have, amazing Critical Ops team, world champions, etc. They are, there's been a LAN event announced soon, which that's about as much as I can say. I don't think they have announced who else is going, but I will say we're North American champions. And, Paladins team, they have an event in at Esports Arena, the new Esports Arena in Las Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
On May 4th to 5th, right? So, and then they have another event based on their qualification in Atlanta at the end of May. It's more like private. It's at a high-res headquarters.
Oh, cool.
But they have 2 events in May. And then, of course, H1Z1, we got a franchise. That's our biggest deal right now. And that's starting April 21st. And between, before this podcast and right after this podcast, I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to, we're getting flights and everything. Very, very excited. To me, H1Z1 franchise is a great opportunity for us to show, kind of the vision that we've always had, but never had a true chance to implement.
Yeah.
Yeah. To some degree, it's not, it's not Overwatch League level, right? We don't have tens of millions of dollars or even $5 million to run this or anything like that. But we have a few dollars.
Mm-hmm. So putting all that money back into Vainglory, that probably leaving, I think you said it in your blog post, just like it's hard to leave because you started there and you put so much time and effort into it.
Yeah.
Same with me now, like 200 episodes of the podcast, countless videos on YouTube. It's just kind of like, all right, that's there. Goodbye. It's like putting it in your closet and being like, well, I don't want to throw this away yet, but I'll just store it here for now.
So originally I was going to just leave Vainglory, right? We were going to just depart, period. Because frankly, there was a little bit of salt, it's like, we didn't get franchise, right? Like, come on, we didn't get franchise. What the heck? But you take a day, you think about it, and they need to do what they need to do to make sure the game is successful.
Yeah.
And it's their game. Like, who in the world am I to tell them how to run the game? My job is to give feedback. My job is not to my job is not to build the game. So after that, we thought, well, we have so many fans across the world in Vainglory that leaving permanently for any sort of emotional reason is just stupid.
Yeah.
So I love the game. The half of people on our staff love the game because they came from Vainglory. The other half just hasn't, they're into other games. So we wish it the best and store it for now, and maybe one day we'll come back.
For me, I think I am probably done with it, but I would love to see where it takes off in a year if I was to come back and play it again. But now it's been 2 weeks since I've played the game. I know you don't play that much because you're often busy flying around and going to all this other stuff and managing.
Sometimes.
But going from basically posting a video every day to now not playing for 2 weeks, it's really weird. And you're like, what did I do? How did I have so much time to play the game? That was like 2 hours, an hour every night just to get a video put together. It's like, I don't know where that time went now, this past week or 2 weeks of not playing.
I don't know, man. It's I don't play it anymore lately too. So that's the thing. I haven't played Vainglory consistently since like October.
Okay.
Or something. I don't know. I have to do so. I don't play a lot of games. Period. I play very, very little amount of games. I don't know. I'm pretty detached from it. It's always going to be home. Like there's so many people there, like at both SMC and in the community. Definitely sad, and for me in some ways, but also. So it's sad, and so I wish them good luck. But it's also relieving.
Sure. Yeah.
It's like it's like leaving a relationship. You gain this new sense of freedom, that, hey, I'm on the market now.
Yeah, I think I used that relationship breakup when I was talking to Wolf Hands over Slack or something. I was like, a lot of people, like, you this relationship is over, but sometimes you hang on to it for longer than you should, like hoping that it'll change or get better, but you need to just like walk away and be like, okay, that didn't. Yep. There's probably something else out there, so let's do that. So. No, we so by the way, you asked what's next for Gankstars. So we're getting to PUBG Mobile as well. We're about to announce that. Oh, nice.
Excited. That game looks great. It's a great mobile game. And Fortnite, we have some news coming up in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Not huge. Like, we're not getting a franchise. Well, maybe eventually, but we're definitely not. But it's so. If you remember, like Dane Skid did this skit. Dane Cook did this skit, where he was talking about relationships and how hard sometimes it's to leave, and he did this like voice impersonation. He's like, well, I can't leave him because he's got my CDs in his cars. Like, he beats me every day, but I can't just leave him. All my CDs are in his truck. It's like we have these unreasonable excuses.
Reasons, yeah, for staying with
Yeah,
that.
for sticking to something that perhaps for us isn't working out. So,
But I would say I don't buy into a lot of the Vainglory is dying or all this kind of drama that's been on
right.
Twitter. I will say I don't think the game got as big as we all wanted it to. So it's not even it
Yeah.
can't die because it didn't even get there yet. I don't think it's big enough to die yet.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm gonna
it's
say
never
yet.
been truly alive.
Yeah, like I hate to say that,
It's
but
seen
yeah.
like, no, I mean, it's not in a negative way. Like
Yeah.
in the sense that it's true moments. Like it was over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Right, and it was over marketed in some ways, but its best moments are still ahead of it. If ever, like it just never was a huge game. Period. Like statistically, it was never a big game.
Yeah.
Like I think Dragonborn asked me on Twitter about Critical Ops. I'm like, dude, Critical Ops is so many times more users than Vainglory, and it's barely known yet. And it's not to say that Vainglory doesn't have many users. I'm just saying, like Clash Royale, right? Like Clash Royale is a game that actually is alive, or going to be alive in that sense. Like it's huge. Now, I think Vainglory can have a chance to be that size one day. I don't buy that it's necessarily dying. I don't agree with a lot of decisions that are being made, though, is my honest thing, and I am very doubtful about the future of Vainglory based on these business decisions. But that's sometimes like you don't understand something, and then 6 months later, you see the genius of it. So I've never built a video game.
No, yes, I don't.
Like I can judge all I want, but I think until I build a Clash Royale or a Fortnite, my opinion is just that. So,
but it's been a fun ride. I don't regret playing the game. I don't regret making content for it. I don't any of the things that I've done or sacrificed to do this. It's been fun because it's all been basically because I like the game. I haven't maybe had the Patreon page or monetization on YouTube. Like that's nothing. That's like that doesn't even equate to I could go out to dinner or not go out to dinner and make more money than that. So yeah, like it's not. It was never for the money for me. It was because I like the game. So.
But I mean, I used to play World of Warcraft, no longer, but it doesn't take away from the fact it was an amazing experience, and the game in and of itself is doing just fine with me or in it or not. So,
well, I think that probably does it for this episode. Pwn, thanks for
whatever, dude.
Joining
we got
me.
like 40 more minutes.
Just keep talking and go on and on.
We haven't talked about how NA owns EU yet.
Yeah.
Which is my other highlight from my tiny little highlight from this whole thing. I mean, you might add this out, but like if you need to go, that's great. But if you want to talk, I think it'd be good for viewers to just reminisce on stories.
Oh, for sure. Like
positive experiences.
Yeah. What do you got? Like, I think it's funny how much I've been a part of the game because early on, like I was talking about, like getting in with Cider Helm, but I remember like watching streams, like Shinkaigen's streams on Twitch were great, and he was a big voice that I think got a lot of people excited and taught people how to play this game. No matter how much there is of people who are saying Twitch isn't a good marketing tool, Shin playing the game on Twitch in the early days was a huge boost for the community, and it helped us all realize that, hey, people play this game and other people want to learn how to play it. And it was huge. And now, not to say the people that are streaming now aren't doing a good job. It's just, it's not the same.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what the solution is, but yeah. I think, I would assume that's what they want to focus on, is to make it a lot more fun and a lot more casual, right? Because if you don't focus on your esports scene, then obviously you want to focus on something else. And I think that would be great. Like it needs to be a more fast-paced game. That's what I would change about 25 right now.
Yeah.
And something that people can really enjoy watching and spectating. Yeah, so they invest in that, and just there's more about this thing. Like, I think the whole streaming and having more fun and just being more community oriented, I think we'll get that feeling again.
And yeah, going back to what I said in the beginning, I think that needs to happen from a whole group of new people, the old people that love 3v3. You need to step aside and let a new group in, make podcasts, stream, make videos, talk about the game, educate a new group of people coming in, and don't get hung up on like, oh, well, you're not old school, so I'm not going to listen to you. Well, this new person might be
old.
Yeah, this new person might be great and love the game even more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally.
And I hope that's what SEMC realizes and what they're doing, and will stop pulling the people that make great content from the community and go work for them, because that eats up the talent and the people that make stuff too. Like hiring people that love the game is great, and it was awesome that they did that, but it pulled away a lot of stuff that was getting made too. So that was rough to see sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, I think you know, I don't know, if I was CEO of SMC, I think what I would do is I would simplify the currency system, right? I mean, don't reinvent the wheel, follow Clash Royale, etc. There's so many other games out there that have essentially 3 currency system is the golden rule, or 3 currencies. So you have like your gems, ice, whatever you can buy with money. You have your in-game thing that you earn, glory, blah, blah, you know, that you earn by playing. And then you might have a third one like essence or something that is kind of convertible, like you destroy items, you trade, or something like that. Yeah. That's it. There should never be any other currency. Yeah, well, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but like that's what I would do that, and I would reduce the amount of sort of like I'm really glad they stopped tiering of system. Like Tommy and I talked about tiers
with the cards, like, or with the skins.
Yeah. With the skins, yeah. So we talked about that, and well, I can't, you know, I have signed NDA with them, so most of the things that talk to anyone at SMC is sort of under NDA. But we talked about that, and like I expressed my opinion that you should just have skins. You know, the tiers were interesting, but I think you expressed it too. Like, who wants to buy tier 1? So,
yeah, it was a neat idea, but yeah, once you have tier 3, tier 1 sucks, right? No matter what it is.
Tier 1 is just a hype train for tier 3. Like, yeah. So I think that's good. I don't like blueprints right now. I think they'll change it. I think the crafting, or like the ability to craft or like make something, you know, there's crafting systems in many games, and ability to collect things and then put them together, that in and of itself gives you pleasure, right? Like that's something that most games have because of that. Yeah, focus on that, and just UI, like lots of UI features are needed. Like if I open Arena of Valor or Mobile Legends, or I don't know, ROS, you know, PUBG Mobile, there's so many UI settings. There's so many cool way to customize your experience. Watch your stats, you know, look up other people's stats. You know, you have leaderboards, you have a gajillion of things. Some games allow you to watch tournaments from inside the app.
Yeah. I
think absolutely needed.
Did they miss an opportunity by doing 5v5 and not doing it as a separate game, where they could have put some of these new things in and rebuilt from the ground up? Because like I said, making stuff every week, or in their case, they have to put out a new patch every month. They're often just like having to fix what was broken, and new stuff doesn't get added as much because it requires rewriting from the ground up. That's a much harder and much longer process.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you're saying, so maybe split a team off and say you do 5v5.
You should have did
sort of maintenance team behind.
Yeah, the game is called Vainglory 5v5 now. When you download it, it's not Vainglory, it's Vainglory 5v5. So they could have put out a separate game. Although it would have been 2 games, they could have rebuilt the new one from the ground up.
I think I know legally why they did that, but I'm not going to comment on it.
Okay.
May or may not have to do with franchises. I think they have very limited amount of human resources, you know, so we can suggest, you know, a lot of things that I'm sure they understand they need to do that. But there's just, I think SMC's major hardship, so to speak, or major mountain to climb is ability to hire people. Like
Okay.
they seem to, like they have, like, I know they have a few new people, like I think Christian posted or whoever, but it's not like they tripled in size in the last 2 years. You know, their number of good engineers and stuff doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's obvious by the fact of like how slow the features are. I think if they solve that, I think they have a pretty decent grasp on what to do. They just need to have the human capital to pull it off.
Well, you're in San Francisco, you know that finding those people are incredibly hard, and if you get them, they are incredibly expensive. So they're in this place that has a lot of people, but they also need
it is, but other companies do it. So
yeah.
At this point, it's like, stop saying that and just do it. Like, find a human resource person who is capable to do it. Like, I don't know what's the problem is, but you can't, you know, I mean, I support them all because, like I said, I have friends there and I understand the hardships. But if you go, you know, if you go to your investor and say, I have trouble doing that, like, it's either you do or you don't. You do or you die, right? Like, nobody cares about your excuses. And, you know, San Francisco too expensive, we'll move to another city.
Yeah.
Like, you as an entrepreneur, I understand that, like, sometimes I have to just look to myself in the mirror and say, whatever I think that are my excuses is simply irrelevant. It's like, what are you going to do about it? Right. And it's just, and if I don't, then the whole thing fails. So I personally have stopped giving them, I don't know, like, I think after 3 years, that's no longer an excuse. It's just get it done.
Yeah.
Like, hire people to teach you, to train you, like other companies doing it. Like, SMC is by far not the only company in this Bay Area has a lot of good engineers. So what needs to be done to make it happen?
Right.
And maybe like that whole denial is the problem, is like, keep saying to yourself it's hard, or I don't know.
But that sentiment, I think,
sounds harsh, but sometimes you need tough love.
Yeah, but that's the thought of the community as a whole right now, and why maybe there's so much drama, because 3 years of being told it's coming, or like we're working on it, and not seeing it has finally just kind of, it's tipped people. Like, look, we haven't had this golden toad. For some reason, this is a feature or something that's been mentioned
why
for 3 months, and it's not even in the game. It's a model that you can just put in the game. I don't know why it's not there, and I don't know why they keep talking about it being there when it's just a model.
Right.
Just put in the game.
At some point, something like that becomes more of a PR thing. Like, if you promise something, you better divert resources from elsewhere just to implement that thing, because otherwise you look like you're a liar or somebody who's not good at fulfilling promises.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in this next version, the 3.12. I don't know what version we're on now.
Yeah,
but
like, I agree, it's not an important feature. Like, do people really care what it looks like? No, but you said it's going to be a toad, so make it a freaking toad, and like cut some other feature. I mean, you want people to trust the things you say. You can't, you know. I mean, I do that too. Like, I you know, I'm being harsh, but I mean, Luke, my CEO, like, we have conversations where he goes, dude, you promise we're gonna get this far at this point, or like, we're gonna do this, and the new stuff hits, you know, and you can't always execute. When you say things, I think it's important to try at least to communicate. But for them, like, I mean, hell, I don't have funding though, so it's a freaking toad. Like, they put so many new characters into the game. They have flying amazing dragons. It's like, can we make one of the wings on the dragon have less triangles or something, like less detail, and just less polygons? Put a freaking toad in the game.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's one of those. So when you're right, though, when it comes to sort of a boiling point, then small things become really your buttons, and everything small that shouldn't matter, is not really relevant in reality, becomes an issue. I think we'll see, but I don't know, it's
it'll be nice, like as you said, like being a step away from it and not having to be invested in it and talk about it. You can just kind of look at it and be like, oh, okay, what's happening in the Vainglory esports scene? Oh, okay, I'm going to tune in for a little bit and watch something. Who's playing? Oh, some of the names I recognize, some of them I don't. Okay. And then you can step away. You don't have to watch for 5 hours a day or know who everyone is and keep track of stats and everything. So it'd be nice to be an outsider for a little bit.
I look forward to going to events and supporting teams with zero stress.
Yeah.
And like being able to talk to the devs too and say, hey, how's it going? You know, what troubles you're facing, what's happening, and listen and sort of be there for them without always thinking, is this good for the game? Is this bad for the game? How's it going to reflect on franchises? How is it going to reflect on esport?
Yeah.
I no longer care. And so that maybe in that way I can be a lot more helpful or, you know, because I'm detached.
Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting year for the game, and I think that we'll see what happens, or I won't, because I won't be as invested in it. So,
so what's up with you? You know, what's next for you, for BRAD?
For me, like the choice to step away at the moment probably came at a good time, because one of my employees at Loose Keys decided to leave. So, make sure I can focus on the business that actually makes money is important first. And so as get that all straightened out and growing, then I think I can decide if I want to take on another side project or build another YouTube channel, or what that entails. So it's kind of, at the moment, nothing new. So we're gonna have to see what comes up.
Okay.
Or see what opportunities arise too, right?
Yeah. That's cool. What games are you playing right now?
Honestly, like yourself, I don't really play a lot of games. Like, I recently got a VR headset and looking into that space as a whole. So I've been messing around with those games, and that's kind of interesting. But I have no games on my phone, and Vainglory was the game on my iPad, and I haven't even used my iPad for 2 weeks. So I don't play games.
Wow. You have become like me.
Yeah.
People ask me like, oh, you know, why did you go into this business? And I said, because I love games. Oh, so you play a lot of games? Actually, no, I don't play a lot of games anymore.
Yeah.
I look at spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm. I like the experience of them, and I like the worlds that they build, but I'm not great at games. I was pretty decent at Vainglory, but I'm not very good at them as a whole, so I don't play a lot of them for very long because I'm not good at them. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. I can't beat this level. I'm out. Like, but I like the stories. I like all the artwork and the designs and everything that goes into them. So I think that's what captures me a lot of the time.
Yeah. Same. My girlfriend has been playing, V has been playing a lot of games lately. Okay. Mostly puzzle, because I introduced her to The Room. And if you haven't played The Room, everyone freaking great if you like puzzle games, sort of. So now we're doing adventure games and just like art games and trying to figure things out. Nice. In terms of what are the best games on there. In that space. It's been a long time since I looked, yeah.
Well, yeah, then you can look at stuff that's not an esports game. When you have to think of it, is this good esports game? Yeah. No, it's a puzzle game. There's no esports here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me
on
the podcast.
Thanks for being a part of it. You were on many episodes, including our Unity fake April Fool's episode that we did. Yeah. So lots of good memories had.
Yeah, and thank you to Vainglory. Wonderful memories so far. The best of luck to everyone who stays in Vainglory. Please don't be a complete troll on Twitter. Don't post. I mean, you can post whatever you want. It's Twitter. It's your opinion. But yeah, I'm very grateful. And there are a lot of smart people there, and I hope it becomes big.
Yeah, so be sure to follow PwntByUkrainian on Twitter. You can follow me at BRAD on Twitter. Shatter the Vain Twitter probably is not going to get updated very much. So definitely follow me. And I tweet lots of different stuff on my account if you want more than just Vainglory. So check that out. And yeah, thanks everyone for supporting, watching, sharing, commenting on all these episodes over the years. It's been a blast, and take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get this over with.